Hi everyone, welcome back to Alice and the Giant Bookshelf. Today I'm going to be talking about my reading goals and plans for 2022. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Alice and I have way too many books. So it's the start of a brand new year, 2022, and I'm really hoping for a good year, especially when it comes to reading. Last year, and I'll be wrapping this up in more detail elsewhere, I challenged myself to read 62 books, and the year before, 2020, I had not managed to read 62 books, but I set it as a target again because I was feeling out of a reading slump and ready to go again. So in actual fact, at this point when I'm filming, which is just before Christmas, I've so far read 117 books this year, which is just mind-blowing to me. I've never ever read over 100 books in a year before, except maybe when I was a child and I wasn't keeping any records of it. So 117 books is absolutely amazing to me. And I mean, I would like to read 100 again next year, but I'm not going to set myself too high a goal because I don't want to put myself off and I don't want to put myself under any pressure and take on too much. So I think maybe on my Goodreads I'm going to set the target of maybe 72, so it's a bit more than last year. But if I set 100, I might just feel the pressure, so I don't want to jinx anything. So if you've been watching my channel for a little while, you'll know that in 2021 my major goal when I started this channel was to get my giant TBR, which was at that stage well over 200 books, down below 200. And I did achieve that. I got to, at the moment, it's at 190, and I'm hoping that in the week after Christmas I will read a little bit, so maybe it will get down even further. A little while ago when I hit 200, I decided that my goal I wanted to meet in 2022 would be, with the TBR, to get down to 150 books. I'm now thinking I'd like to get it below that, and I do think that that is achievable. I have been on an all-out book ban this year, and although I've been borrowing books and using the library sometimes, and although I do buy Audible books, I haven't been buying any books at all this year. I didn't really buy any books at all in 2021. I did receive some books for my birthday in June, and I probably will have received some books for Christmas by the time you see this video. But other than that, the giant TBR has not been going up. So, oh, Harry. So, yeah. So I'm pleased with the progress with my giant TBR. I still think that I have got way too many books that I haven't read, and I do still want to rectify that, but I don't think I will necessarily be on an all-out ban in 2022. It's just that I've actually got to a point where I don't really want to buy any new books. I want to borrow books from the library if I can, borrow books from my mum. So I do want to read some new books this year, but I don't necessarily want to buy new books. So we'll see how that goes. And I won't be on an all-out ban, but I will definitely be trying to get that TBR below 150 books. So that's one of my major aims, and to do that I would like to set myself a target, set myself a goal to try and read 52 books from the giant TBR. So that is one book a week for the whole year, and I think that's very doable. There are long books and there are short books on the giant TBR, and I think that I could definitely try and read 52 of them. So that's goal number one. Goal number two is that I want to read some more new releases. So in 2021, I actually read no books that had been published in 2021, which seems quite bad. I think I might have read a couple of books published in 2020, but that was about it. So I feel like I'm not really following new releases, and I probably still won't be, but I have signed up to be a judge for the Booktube prize, so that's something I'm really looking forward to and hoping to see the overarching list for that in January and get involved in hopefully judging some, which will involve reading, I think, 6 new books. So that is one way I'm going to be reading new books. And the other thing I want to challenge myself to do is every month I would like to read 1 new release per month. And if it's not a new release from 2022, I'd like to catch up some of the books that I didn't read in 2021 by reading some of them. So I think I'll start off in January by reading a book from 2021, and hopefully that will be a book that I will get for Christmas. But I'll let you know what that is if I get it. If you have any suggestions for great books that were published in 2021 that you have read, I would love to hear them in the comments down below. So please do get in touch and let me know what you think I should be reading. What was the best of 2021? I'd quite like to include some books that won prizes. I really would like to read Piranesi, for example. I've heard lots of good things about that. I have asked on my Instagram before what are some new books from 2021 that people have really enjoyed, and I've got a couple of recommendations from that. So I'll be building a list of books if I haven't got a particular new release to try that month. With that, that will be 64 books that hopefully will be covered in the year. So I have 2 other targets to do with my reading of classics, because I've got really into reading classics this year. I do want to have read more of the books that are considered to be true classics. So I've been looking at the 100 greatest books according to Penguin. I'm not sure if this was voted for by readers or how it was decided, but I will include a link to that in the description down below. I've made myself a spreadsheet of that. I've actually only read 23 out of the 100 books on the list, so I'd like to change that this year. I've set myself quite a low target. I'd like to read at least 5 new books from this list, and I actually do own 5 more of the books that are on that list, so that will be a good place to start. If I read more than that, then brilliant. But the reason I've only said 5 is because there's another type of classics that I want to read 5 of, and that is Shakespeare plays. So back in September, I read some Shakespeare plays, and I loved doing that. It was the first time I've read the Shakespeare plays as an adult on my own when not studying them, and it really brought to my attention that there are many Shakespeare plays that I should have read, and I would really like to read because I enjoy reading them. So I'd like to read 5 more Shakespeare plays this year, and I don't know which 5 those will be. I'm going to leave it up to myself to choose based on how I feel about them at the time, so it leaves it a bit more open to mood. With the 5 new books from the 100 greatest books and the 5 Shakespeare plays, that will be another 10 books, so could be looking at reading as many as 74 books. But I do think that the 5 books from the 100 greatest books might well come off the TBR, and I do think that although the Shakespeare plays won't be coming off the TBR, I do actually own them. They are in my complete works of Shakespeare, so I won't be buying any new books to do that. Those are my major reading goals for 2022. I'd love to hear from you in the comments about what you think about these goals and about what you think I should read for the newer releases. If you know of any new releases coming out in 2022 that you think I would like, I'd love to hear suggestions about those as well. I will also be continuing with my project of rereading Agatha Christie. I do reread 1 book of those a month for Christie Fest generally, and sometimes more. And definitely do want to reread more Agatha Christie, but I also do want to explore more classic crime and more other crime fiction that I haven't got to yet. And with that in mind, I have joined a sort of read-along book group, which is going to be run by AJ Dunn, and I've mentioned this in my January TBR video. We're going to be reading The Talented Mr. Ripley in January, and this book group is based on Penguin's 100 Greatest Thrillers and Crime Books. So I am looking forward to dipping in and out of that group and getting to read some of the other crime classics that I haven't read yet. I do want to mention one final goal, and I really, really need as much encouragement as possible to meet this goal. and that is to finish Don Quixote. I've been reading this on and off, mostly off, since June when I committed to read it for Ancients-a-thon. I then said in my end of the year tag that I would like to try and finish this. I didn't try and finish this. I've talked about this before as the most intimidating book on my bookshelf. Now that I've started it, I don't actually feel that intimidated by it anymore because it's actually in a really readable style, considering when it was written. I must go back to this. I've got to finish this book. It's one of the books on my TBR. I'm not choosing any of the 52 books that I want to read from the giant TBR apart from this one. It may not be in January, but I want to read Don Quixote and I want to get it finished, and any words of encouragement you can give me about it would be welcome. So I think that's all that I wanted to talk about today. Those are some of my plans and goals. I'm still going to be making 2 videos a week here on Booktube and occasionally throwing in a Poetry Thursday video. I have been trying to do these every other week, but I don't know if that will continue into the new year. But I definitely do want to read more poetry. That's a target that I haven't mentioned. So I do want to read at least some poetry every month, and hopefully that will just fit in around my other goals. I also plan to make some more of my A Reader's Guide to series, which is a series that I started a little while back about my favourite characters from my favourite book series. And these will mostly be characters from crime and thriller series, but I'm open to all suggestions. Really enjoying reading a wide variety of books. I'm really enjoying joining in with a variety of book groups, and I hope that continues into the new year. It's been about 9 months now that I've been on Booktube, and yeah, I've really enjoyed every minute of it. It's made me read so much more than I've ever read before. And best of all, I've got to talk about it with lots and lots of different people. I love chatting to everyone in the comments, and I absolutely love talking about books. So I hope you will join me throughout 2022 as I try to reach some of these goals and hopefully have a lot of fun along the way. So Happy New Year to everybody. Please do give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and consider subscribing if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, and I'll hope to see you all again soon for another video all about books here on Alice and the Giant Bookshelf. Bye for now.